Hi guys, Kenny from the Basic Brit here. Uh, Want to start out this new series, which is my campaign that I'm running my players through on Roll20 and using Discord of Morgan's Fort in the Western Lands campaign setting. Um, we start off with a very small group, and it kind of expands over the next couple of sessions. But I thought this might be a good format to kind of sit down, have a cup of tea with you guys, and just review how the session went purely from a story and a recap kind of format. Not going to get too deep into the rules or anything like that. I just want to tell the story of my players and how they're getting on in the world. So we are introduced to a caravan travelling north on the tradeway from the south, leading up to Morgan's Fort and the city of Slateholm beyond. 3 adventurers are helping guard and guide the caravan at this moment. We have Bluebell, the halfling cleric, Mirren, the elf thief, and Jarek, the human fighter. Bluebell is clad in chainmail, carrying a mace and a shield, holding close to her a holy symbol that she doesn't like people to see. Mirren, the elven thief, is clad in leather armour, classic elvish woodland elves garb, greens and browns, carrying a short bow and a short sword at his side. Jarek is an imposing armoured figure wearing chainmail, carrying a shield with a multitude of spears and swords slung at either his hip or strapped to his backpack. The party begins to talk to some of the caravan members, getting to know some of the families, what goods are being carried up to the walled fort of Morgan's Fort. A character of some importance that they get to know is a knight of low renown who calls himself Sir Brennan. He is travelling north to ingratiate himself back with the baronet of Morgan's Fort. He's finished his journeys down south. He wants to go back home and work for the baronet, guarding his lands. He has been tasked to be the head of the caravan security, and he talks with the adventurers about what business they intend to conduct in Morgan's Fort. He tells stories of dungeons in the area that haven't been cleared out in years, promising if they make it there, there's definitely opportunity for adventure in that area. As night starts to roll in, the caravan slows down, and a lot of the people consider setting up camp for the night, when out of nowhere a storm comes rolling in from the west. People take no heed of it at first, then people start to get worried as it grows in intensity, coming out of nowhere like it did. A sickly green glow starts to emanate from the clouds themselves. The winds pick up howling, ripping tents and stakes out of the ground. Mothers grab their children, fathers peer at the sky. Someone says there's a face. There's a face in the sky, and with that announcement, a horrible sickly green twister crashes from the sky and hits the ground. People panic, start to run north, south and east. The party stops, watches for a second. There is a face in the twister, a gaunt, sickly face screaming, an ungodly scream. The rest of the caravan panics at this, and it seems like the people who don't move are now lying on the floor still. Jarek, the human fighter, peers to the left and to the right. A ghostly apparition seems to be sucked out and consumed by this gaunt face in the twister of one of the caravan guards. With that, the party knows to move, and move quickly. They head in the general direction of where some of the caravan party was fleeing into the woods. More people drop as their souls are wrenched from the bodies. With this, they spot a cave. The mouth inviting against the killer storm that's raging behind them, and they quickly make their way there. They spot Sir Brennan, ushering folk running towards the mouth of the cave, and they make it just in time, along with a farmer scared out of his wits and a young boy separated from his family. As they quickly scramble into the mouth of the cave, the storm hits just above the door. The mouth of the cave collapses in rubble, mud, rock and dust. Just in time, but how many survivors made it out of there? After the collapse, the onslaught of the storm seems to subside. The party appear to be trapped for now. There's a long passage leading deeper into the darkness. They strike their torches, and as they peer down this passageway, they can see light coming from further inside the cavern also. But also screams can be heard, along with the roar of some beastly animal. Rushing in to check the situation, the group sees two of the caravan guards trying to fend off a bear that has been resting here. The bear roars angrily, a spear hanging out of its flank. Bodies of a couple more of the denizens of the caravan are seen strewn, battered, clawed to death. The two caravan guards try to mount an attack against the bear, and unfortunately they're quickly dispatched by two big long swipes of its paws. It lunges for the party. It takes an arrow each from Mirren and Jarek, along with a sling bullet from Bluebell, before Jarek moves in to slay the beast in close combat with Sir Brennan. The party gathers what they can from the slain guards. Bluebell says a few words of remembrance, Mirren almost looking down on this as futile. They see in the bear's den some valuables taken from a previous unfortunate soul, a backpack with some coinage inside it, no use to the bear, better use in their pockets. They decide that the only way out of this situation is to go deeper, find a way out of this cave on the other side. They make their way through the bear's resting place to find a passage leading down a rough natural stairway to what they assume is the north of the cavern. As they get to the bottom of the passage, they see a raised ledge that they must traverse. Mirren, now an opportunity for him to use his thief skills, throws a grappling hook up to the top and easily scales it, passing his climb surfaces check. He helps secure the rope properly at the top for the other survivors, and once everyone is up to the top of the ledge, they see a glowing room off to the north, but decide after peering inside that the fungus giving off the glow looks too suspicious to investigate, and decide to head west where the sound of water lapping against natural stone is coming from. This turns out to be a very smart choice. As they progress west into a large open cavern, the group spies a pool of water with no immediately noticeable source. They walk around, see if they can find any obvious entry or exit apart from the way they came into this room, and determine that maybe the pool of water might have something to offer them, as they decide who would be best suited to try and take a dip, see if this water is coming from an underground passageway. But before they can finish debating who's going to go through, a group of giant centipedes comes out of the walls. The fight is back on. Sir Brennan is the first to cut one of these creatures down, and due to my, as the DM, very bad rolls and the party's excellent luck with some of their rolls, these Very dangerous little creepy crawlies for level 1 party members are easily dispatched. The farmer and the young boy are starting to get much more nervous now as they're being dragged through this cave complex by the adventuring party and the knight Sir Brennan. But this absolute decimation of these giant centipedes lets them, at least for now, have a sense of safety with this party as they easily dispatch these creatures. Once finished, they clean their blades and find and inspect the nest that they came from. For some reason, these centipedes had hoarded a small hoard of gold. Only a couple of shiny coins, maybe from an unfortunate halfling in the past. Mirren decides rather than to backtrack and check the fungus room, he's going to dive into the pool, see what he can find. He takes off his heavy gear and dives into the pool. Now he does have dark vision, but it doesn't help that much underwater, so he has to feel around and use his other senses. He feels against his skin the current coming from the northern part of the wall. He dives down, taking a large breath of air. Yes, definitely a rough hole in the wall, maybe 2 feet by 2 feet, but slender as he is, he can easily fit through. He bobs his head back up to speak to the rest of the party. Tells them he's found a way through, although Jarek, it might be a bit tough for you to squeeze through, but what other choice do they have? Now, this was going to be a bit of a challenge for them to get through with their armour, no light. The torches would have to be extinguished, but the party came up with quite an ingenious system of using ropes to guide each other through. So I let them just complete this task without any checks or anything like that. They came up with a really good and comprehensive way to get everyone, including the young boy, through, calming him down and telling him to take a deep breath. As the last party members got through though, Mirren did ask to try and inspect this next room that they were in. And he spent quite a bit of time checking in this pool, so I let him... There was loot in here, but the way he described searching the floor of this pool and really taking his time to take deep breaths and come up, he came across the first magic item. And I know, yes, session 1, a magic item for a level 1 party on session 1. I think he deserved this, the way the situation came out, and he ends up finding a longsword +1. He doesn't know that it's a magical longsword yet, but he'll put it to good use pretty soon, I think. As they relight the torches, they can see now and hear where the sound of rushing water was coming from. There's a small waterfall gushing into the pool that they've just exited here. There's an exit to the east, which seems like it might be the way out. They also find the remains of what looked like a halfling traveller. Some rudimentary loot, some camping supplies they pull from him. Bluebell again, offering some sense of prayer to the deceased. As they advance further into the tunnels, they decide correctly that they've took the long route around the fungus room and shouldn't go south, as it's probably not worth the risk at this point. They opt for north and start to see light coming in. As they do, they spy more belongings with more loot, but then they meet the thing that has been leaving all these debris around. A grick launches itself from a shelf up at the top of the cavern. It surprises the party, comes down, the worm-like tentacles striking out at the party, but again, my rolls are absolutely shocking here. And as much as I wanted this to be a kind of key send-off combat for the group on the first session, they gang-bust it and cut it down, leaving the way out free. They spend the evening within the safety of the cave and venture out at first light. After a few minutes of orientation, they find themselves looking down on the carnage of the storm. They soon decide onwards at best speed to Morgan's fort. And that that, guys, was session 1 of my campaign. I really hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about it. Yeah, my dulcet northern tones aren't the easiest thing to keep people engaged sometimes, but I can't help it. That's just my voice. There's more sessions coming. I think we're maybe 7 or 8 sessions in at the minute, so I'm hoping to get all my recaps written down, produce more videos for you guys. Mainly, I want this to maybe give someone else inspiration so that they can go out, plan their own campaign, and run it for people anywhere. I used to play in a live game with my friends at home. Now we play using Roll20 on the internet. There's a couple of people I've met on Discord and Roll20 and stuff like that who play my game. Really good people. It can be hit and miss, I'll be honest with you. Some of the people that you come across, they won't be your people, as it is in normal life as well. You just don't click with them. But we've got a really strong group at the minute. A good mix of role players who have come from 5th edition to try a bit of old school gaming. I've got a couple of really hardcore old school dungeon crawl veterans that quite like the campaign at the moment. But yeah, more to come in this series. I really hope you guys enjoy it. I'll try and post as regularly as I can. I'm not going to stick to a schedule just yet. But with that being said, enjoy your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, whatever you're drinking, listening to this. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.